All right, we're live. Got an early one today. Let's get this show on the road. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bryce Boudreaux Show. My name is Bryce Boudreaux, and this is my show. Today's gonna be a good one. It's a little bit early. Said last night, set your alarms even earlier than expected. We are here at 10:45 a.m. This sets the record for the earliest edition of the Bryce Boudreaux Show I've ever had. So, but we're working with our guest schedule, and our guest today is Eric Easy E. Scallan. As you all know, this Saturday night in Youngsville, Louisiana, right there in the heart of Acadiana, it's RAGIN Fighting Championship, their inaugural event in promotion history. Eric is in the main event against Jason Slayton, and we're going to be talking all about that fight here in just a moment. So, while we're wasting our time, let's get this show on the road, and let's welcome to the show our guest this morning's episode of the Bryce Boudreaux Show, Eric Easy E. Scallan. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Very good. Once again, an early episode, so we hope everybody set their alarms. I think people are drinking their coffee. I mean, I consider this early. Some people think this is late. I mean, if you're working all day, then I guess that's a different story. Eric, we got a big one this Saturday, man. It's your first time in a
2.5
first
years.
time. Yeah, first time in 2.5 years. I was trying to do the math, but yeah, last time we saw you in the cage was with AKA. You're back. You're in the cage. You're back. You're back training, and this is a big deal. I mean, this is happening in Youngsville, of course. RAGIN Fighting Championship 1. I believe you coach at Gladiators Academy of Youngsville, correct?
Yeah, correct. Coach and owner and operator as well.
Gotcha. So you're there. You're in Youngsville. This is a big deal for you. RAGIN Fighting Championship 1, their inaugural event. Did you originally pitch the idea? Hey, why don't you let me be in the main event, or why don't you or did you just originally want to be a part of this, or how did all that happen?
I honestly, what happened was that for my birthday, I had this bright idea just to invite 20 to 30 people to my gym just to spar and wrestle. And we just continued to beat the dogs down out of each other. And man, I felt really good. I felt really good. And at that time, I actually got pretty strict with a diet and just started to lose some weight. And man, I never retired. I never retired. I just got really out of shape and just wasn't training, you know. And so what happened was that every time I thought about fighting, it was just my weight was just too high. I wasn't going to fight a 205 or, you know, I wasn't doing it, you know. So finally my weight started coming down, and then Tim announced that he was going to start his own show. And I reached out to him. I said, man, you know, and I'm the type of person, I need something to focus on and put my energy towards, you know, and just kind of where I was at in my life. I was like, man, let me, Tim, I want to be your main event. I believe I was this first main event for Fightville, or maybe the second. I want to say it was the first one. I can't remember. But I told Tim I wanted to do it, and sure enough, and I kind of at first, I didn't know what weight I wanted to do. I wanted to do like 195, and then I was like, well, hey, I can make 185. And he was like, well, we're already kind of set at 191, or we came up with some weird number like that, you know. But you know, it just comes down to, man, it's like, man, I'm 39, and really, man, I'm in the best shape of my life right now. You know, I mean, it's hard to explain. Like I have a lot of fights. I've been doing this for a long time, you know, but understand, hey, there's time where I've taken time off. I haven't been in a bunch of wars, you know. So as far as like, I have a lot of highway miles, you like to say, you know. Man, the most damage I've taken is in practice. And that's where fighters really get old. You know, they get old because they go through wars, and, you know, they get beat up. You know, so I was able to kind of, you know, not take damage, and man, I feel better than I've ever felt my entire life. You know, I can say this. I know I was messing with Tim yesterday. I called him and gave him an earful, but I know there's this narrative that, oh, I'm just jumping back in to show my kids, the training process, and look, that's wonderful. I'm going out there to murder. All right. I'm in the best shape of my life. I've been training with some of the best guys in Louisiana. You know, I've been traveling to New Orleans, been going to Mid-City. I've trained with the best 185ers. all the way to home from Homa, and then really putting together, like I knew Jason's bigger, he's stronger, and I'm a 170, 185er. You know, if I murder myself, weight cutting wise, I get down to 70. But I knew this guy is going to be a lot physically stronger than me. So I've been able to really put together a good camp with bigger guys, you know. And so, but no, I'm excited, man. You know, this is fun to me.
Well said. I mean, I think you answered every question I had right there.
That's it. We're done. Let's go. Let's go.
We're done. You get back to training. Nah, man. I mean, you said that perfectly. I think you answered every question that I had right there. Yeah, you mentioned going out there to Mid City. Love those guys out there in Mid City and Libros and all that good stuff. Sean, everybody over there, and both the Libros. Yeah, man, you mentioned just about everything right there, and I love that attitude because I, as someone who's a fan and also someone that's going to be a part of this event as the announcer and host of RFC1, I'm over here thinking, I'm like, and this is no disrespect to you, but I'm like, well, you know, this is pretty cool. You know, it's been a minute since he's fought, and he's going to be in the main event, and it just makes sense. No, you got you're over here to murder.
No, I'm saying, and I say that all respect to my opponent, but no, this isn't like some midlife crisis fight. You know, this is, I know, and I think that was people's first impression. You know, but man, I love to do this. I love the process, and look, this is, you don't just play fight, right? You don't just, you know, there's serious consequences for not being ready for a fight, and you pay with your consciousness, you know. And, you know, certainly, hey, maybe there is, they talk about in some places a hometown advantage. Man, it's a hometown, you know, disadvantage, you know, for sure. I mean, you get a lot more people asking you for tickets, a lot of people, you know, in your DMs, just it's a lot more distractions. And I can tell you this, I was talking with Abe Sellers, who's, you know, my business partner and head trainer for this. And we talked about, you know, not necessarily blocking out all the distractions, but really like embracing it, you know, instead of, you know, but really enjoy, hey, the crowd's going to be there. There's going to be people there booing me, right? There's going to be people maybe trying to heckle me. You know, hey, my kids are going to be there. You know, hey, my students are going to be there. But embrace it and kind of use that in a positive light. Don't try to block it out. And then when you get there, it's like, oh, I can't, it's going to be there. You know, so yeah, I take care of myself. I try to take care of my brain. And look, I have a healthy fear for this sport. I have a very healthy fear for my opponent. And, you know, and that's what, you know, you use that's what being a fighter is. You use that fear and anxiety is always going to be there, but harnessing and using that fear and anxiety to motivate me and to help me train. You know, I'm scared. I train all the time because I'm scared. You know, and absolutely, that's why I do it. That's why I'm like, hey, I'm driving to New Orleans today, or hey, I'm calling these guys in, you know, to come put it on me today. We're going to do a Shark Tank drill on me, you know, and it's out of fear and a healthy respect.
Dude, I love all that. I mean, that's what it's all about. And like I said, well said. I mean, that's everything right there. It's a great answer. I got some couple of comments from some viewers. We got Charles Jobert. He says, "Kick ass! I'm in your corner." Charles, a local fight fan from right there in the heart of Lafayette. So we definitely appreciate it. We're going to see him. He's definitely going to be there. He's always at all the events. Love seeing Mr. Charles. Oh, cool. Chris Logan, DJ Chris Logan from 106.7 The Planet. He's been putting out some great content. He's been doing a lot of the interviews and all kinds of good stuff. So big shout out to Chris Logan. I'm assuming he's going to be there, so I'll be able to meet the man in person. So a lot of fun. I love the vibe and the hype around this event that's happening Saturday night. Once again, RAGIN Fighting Championship 1, RFC 1, the first event in promotion history. And of course, we are talking with the main event fighter himself, Eric Easy Scallan, as he prepares to take on Jason Street Shark Sladen in the main event of RFC 1. The local hype around this has been awesome. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Christian Schmidt, that announces in South Texas yesterday, and he said himself, where you're at is white hot for fights, especially MMA. And yes, it is. I mean, Lafayette, Acadiana, that whole area, it's a fight town. There's gyms everywhere, and all of these kids that are growing up and turning into teenagers and turning into men and women as well. They're all growing up here in this area, and that's all they see is people like Dustin and Carly Judice just recently, with the UFC, inspiring all these people. You as well. You've had a lot of good influence on everybody, and like you said, you're the owner and operator of Gladiators Academy of Youngsville. Maybe we should tell the people out there, because there's a lot of people that are watching the show, that will watch the show, don't exactly understand the pull that Gladiators has in that area. Kind of give me the background, of course, about Gladiators Academy, how it started, and how you joined in and became the owner and operator of Gladiators Youngsville.
Yeah, I guess like early in the martial arts scene, it was really just inspiring fighters that got together at local like karate schools. They had a couple jiu-jitsu gyms. There was never a pure like MMA gym. And I was literally driving down Johnson Street, and it's right by like the original Plant Nutrition. And then my old instructor, Harry Duyon, he had this big sign that said MMA. It was like the most ghetto sign you've ever seen in your life. MMA, here's the number. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And so I started training with him, Brian Terrio, and Thomas Hebert. And, and just eventually, we started kind of bouncing around the different gyms. Josh Artigue was training out of the Como Rec Center, which is kind of funny because I was actually at the Como Rec Center for my son's flag football. And I actually see like that same room, they actually host like karate classes in there. And that's kind of what it was. Michael Lopez, trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he was probably the most like, I guess, legitimate martial arts, but it was kind of strictly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then Tim opened up a Gladiators Academy in Baton Rouge. He did it with Rich Clemente. And that was the original Gladiators. And a funny story, one of my very first MMA fights was at the bar, I think it's shut down, Reggie's in Tigerland.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So that was the first fight I ever went to. And so that fight, and I know I talked on Chris shows about this, about like all the guys I went to high school with, they were all a bunch of fighters, right? Mm-hmm. So I showed up there, and this guy that was captain of our wrestling team, he was also a bouncer at Reggie's. And so they hosted like this big, like impromptu, like MMA fight. It was like bouncer versus bouncer. I'm not sure what it was. And I remember this guy, he lost his fight, like just like a real basic rear naked choke, like a front choke. And I remember thinking like, man, I know how to get out of that, and I was just, and I remember just the hype around it. And I was like, man, this is awesome. So then eventually, Tim, I'm not sure when he did the Ultimate Fighter, but eventually, Tim came to Lafayette, and it took a little time to kind of collect everyone together, but eventually, Dustin eventually came over there. Aaron Phillips was over there, Jules, and just so on and so forth. So all really some of the prominent figures in the martial arts community and it was a fighter gym originally. Like it was strictly for fighters, right? Mm-hmm. And then eventually my understanding is that, all these fighters started begging Tim, like, hey, can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? And then sure enough, that started the Gladiators, kids program. Mm-hmm. And, I think we have a healthy balance of what separates us from all gyms is that, man, we have a phenomenal, kids martial arts program. Man, I think I have probably over 150, kids at my gym. I want to say it's probably the biggest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kids program in Louisiana, but then we also, we have our Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program and then MMA. It's funny, for whatever reason in Youngsville, people think I just do MMA, and it's like, well, man, no, we are a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. We do everything, man, and so, mm-hmm. and that's how it started. And then, Tim had his gym, and I kind of told this story before, but I was in the oil field, and the oil field was crashing. And then Jared and Christian Foldrum were starting open their own Gladiators. And I was like, well, man, this is something I've always wanted to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, with Tim's blessing and permission, open mine, and so, but yeah, certainly. And then it's awesome. It's awesome. There's gyms everywhere. I would say we definitely have, some top quality MMA gyms. I think the Brazilian, I mean, people are going to be mad at me for saying this, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a little oversaturated. It's kind of like the new CrossFit now, and so there's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms everywhere, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't rag anybody. If your purpose and your business is to help people grow and develop as a person, I'm 100% for it. So yeah, I mean, dude, we have so many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gyms, and yeah, we have, man, 2 or 3 real high quality MMA gyms. But yeah, I mean, man, you got Zach Matthews, he's doing his thing on his side of town. You got Heath Henry, he's doing his thing over there. And Aaron's doing his thing. I got mine. And there's some other random pop-ups, and that's awesome, man. I mean, we're all about bettering people. We're not at war with each other. Oh, you help more people than me? Great. Who cares?
And that's how it should be. I mean, everybody's kind of in this together. I mean, it's
my philosophy. I don't think anyone else has that philosophy, but we cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's how it should be, and that's what I love, and it's a tight knit community. I mean, it's awesome, and like I said it in an interview a while back. I was on a Acadiana cast with Carter Semino, and he was trying to kind of like understand exactly, okay, well, how does this work? And I'm like, dude, you go to the shows around here, and it's like it's everybody's families are here to see these fighters. It's like this is such a tight knit community. It's really cool to see, and I just don't think you get that anywhere else. I mean, it's really cool to see in Acadiana. Just it's a fight town, and we mentioned that. You kind of mentioned the fighters only gym. Dustin was there, whatever. I guess that was the gym that was featured in the documentary Fightville. Were you in there at all? Part of that?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. you gotta kind of. I'll be honest. At the time when he was in there, I was really standoffish with Michael Tucker. I was just like, well, who's this guy coming into our gym trying to film us? And like, dude, what a freaking mistake, right? But no, actually, if you watch the movie, like it says Fightville, and they actually have me jumping up and down, but I'm kind of in black and white. And you have Tim and Dustin. Tim's actually like trying to mess with me because I'm real tense and loose, and I'm actually telling Tim, shut up. But it looks like in the film, the lights on me, I'm jumping up and down, and like it looks like everyone's yelling at me, pumping me up. But really, they're talking trash to me. But yeah, as the movie goes on, I start off bald, and then I progressively get my hair back. But you'll definitely see me in the background, for sure. Yeah, but it was cool to be a part of.
I think one of the most underrated parts of that, I watch that movie I'm probably going to watch it tonight, or I will always watch it before I go do a show in Lafayette, just because it just gets me in that spirit of what Lafayette means and what Acadiana means to the fight world. The most underrated part of that movie, and I love it because I'm a production guy and I produce events and everything, is whenever Albert's about to make his entrance and they're playing the wrong song, and like you could, because he's mic'd up and he's like, that's the wrong song. And Tim's like, don't worry about it. Just go out there. He's like, it's the wrong song.
Yeah, right.
That shit, it happens all the time.
Yeah, just go with it.
Just go with it. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun stuff. That's good. You kind of tell your vantage point of that movie and what that was like and how much it meant to this area. And like you said, a lot of people didn't know what was going on until after the fact. Nobody really understood exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And then after it came out, the impact that it had and whatever happened afterwards.
And to think about how lucky Michael Tucker was to say, hey, I'm going to do a fight documentary. Right. And then to just so happen to find a diamond in the rough, a future UFC champion.
Literally.
Diamond
in the rough.
He could have went anywhere. He just so happened to stumble into Lafayette. Why didn't he go to New Orleans, Lake Charles? Why not go to Texas? But he stumbled into our gym and was able to document it really followed us, I believe, from our amateur career prior to our early pro career, so yeah, very fortunate.
Shout out everybody that's watching live with us here on Facebook and on YouTube. This is the Bryce Boudreaux Show with this morning's guest, Eric Scallan. Of course, Eric Scallan. Eric Easy Scallan, main eventer of RFC 1. That's happening this Saturday night in Youngsville at the Youngsville Sports Complex. It's going to be, if it's not already sold out, it's going to be damn near close. You're not going to be able to fit another person in there with a crowbar It's going to be absolutely amazing. I believe there's still a few tickets available. Pay-per-view will be on combatsportscoverage.com, so you can watch watch all the action anywhere across the globe. And that's going to be on combatsportscoverage.com. Shout out to Mr. Tommy Galdenzi for coming out here and filming everything and getting the pay-per-view all ready, squared to go. If you're tuning in, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, and let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you're excited for RFC 1 or if you have any fighters on the card that you're looking forward to see. Definitely give you a shout out. We definitely appreciate you watching. Eric, we kind of touched base on it a little bit in the beginning of this interview, and we mentioned your opponent, Jason Street Shark Sladen, and I have watched him progress in his career as a fighter. I'll never forget whenever he fought Chris Crosby in the main event. It was a BFC event that we did in Baton Rouge, or in Denham Springs, and everybody was like, Chris is going to kill him, and he pulled off the upset and he defeated Chris Crosby, damn near knocked Chris Crosby's orbital socket out, and it was absolutely insane. Jason is always proven, he's shorter, he's not exactly tall, but he's like super compact and just super stout, and he's an interestingly built human being. He's very strong. He's had a pretty good run. I think he just had an L against a guy at the Burton Coliseum for AKA, but he definitely looked good in that fight. Have you been watching any film on Jason Sladen, and what's your overall opinion on your opponent for this Saturday night, RFC 1, Jason Street Shark Sladen?
Yeah. Mad respect to Jason and the guys at PE. I've known Josh Quagan for a long time, but a number of respect for my opponents. I would say, look, he's definitely a unique opponent. We're ready for everything. We're definitely ready for everything, man. And I can tell you this. I know everyone likes to talk about Chris Crosby. Chris Crosby is my boy. He's a longtime training partner. Anytime there's a jiu-jitsu promotion in town, anytime there's a new MMA promotion in town, they're like, hey, you want to fight Chris? I'm like, dude, I train with Chris almost every week. Him and his girlfriend, fiance, they come to my gym, all the time. And there's actually a couple other my training partners have actually fought Jason before, but I can tell you this, man, me and Chris's style is very different. Chris, sometimes he doesn't have the best fight IQ, meaning that he'll make some mistakes, in a fight, for example, and so, but anyway, I try not to lean too much into fighter math, like, well, I beat this guy, so that means I can also beat this guy. It really doesn't work like that. Styles make matchups, but look, my style is very different. I don't have my girlfriend in my corner. All right. Shout out to Sophie, so
screaming. Oh yeah. She's a great coach. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think he definitely made some errors in that fight, but no, dude, he is game. He is going to be there. I cannot make a mistake. He is going to be there. He's a physical presence. And, certainly we have our game plan, but we have game plan A, B, and C. And as far as what he brings to the table, look, I try not to watch too much footage on guys. I had my trainers go ahead and watch all the footage, and they come back and they tell me, hey, this is what he does good. This is maybe where he suffers a little bit. And I watch a little bit, but I don't like to read too much into it, because then I'm kind of playing into his game. Why am I playing his game when why do I not focus on what I do best? So man, no, I'm excited, man. He has certainly earned his way to be in this position. He's I believe he's 35. I'm 39. So certainly maybe I do have a lot more experience, but hey, let's be honest. I feel great and everything, but they say a fighter's peak is roughly 36, and the reason for that is because that's when your experience level and your testosterone is kind of at its peak, and after that everything starts dropping off, but yeah, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great fight. Nothing but respect for him, for his team and for his family, and we're going to get after it.
100%, and a lot of people in town are looking forward to it. You're going to have You're going to have a handful of people from the Lake Charles Sulphur area where Jason's from there at that fight as well. So
Right.
it's going to be a pretty good house altogether. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be damn near sold out. If there's still tickets available, they will go quickly before Saturday's event. Other than your fight, other than the main event, I know you're a big part of putting this together behind the scenes. Tell me exactly if you want to talk about it. What fight other than yours are you looking forward to that's on the card?
Man, I would have to say definitely one of my students, Bradley Landry. Man, he comes to fight. He comes to fight. I mean, he is a fan favorite. I mean, dude, he can't spell takedown. I mean, he's swinging, and he's swinging to take your head off, And so I felt bad. His fighter dropped in the previous card, and then his fighter actually dropped on this card. And so I don't know if you saw this, but I put out a Facebook post. I said, hey, I need a 125 or 135er. And then sure enough, someone DM'd me and just said, hey, and I got a guy for you. I said, hey, let's roll. Let's do it, man. So, man, I love him. He helps out. He volunteers at my gym. His son goes to my gym. He works hard to support his family. And like, you're talking about just a young fighter in the grind. And, I remember those days where, hey, like you lose money on these fights, if it wasn't for sponsorship, I would be losing money in this fight, and for him just to go out and do it just for the joy and just for the thrill of it, kudos to him. Definitely, Rylan and Drake Pellegrin, definitely some kids, I say kids, but man, I look up to these guys. Drake comes by my gym and I'm constantly bouncing ideas. I'm always a student to the game. And I'm like, hey, Drake, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this leg lock sequence? And then we always wrestle with each other. And then, Rylan too is just, you got to love someone who's just all in, that's a dangerous person. They have, what's the saying, burn the boats, right? Burn the boats, burn the boats, burn the boats. Right. I don't even know how true that story is. Right. But no, they're all in, man. They're all in. That's a dangerous person, man. That's a dangerous person, So, I mean, I'm good. I got a business in a 401k. You know what I'm saying? But these guys are hungry. So good for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be an incredible event. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Not only as being the voice and announcer of RFC, but just being a fan and being able to watch these fights and watch everything come together. It's going to be awesome, and definitely looking forward to your fight. You're in the main event. Eric Easy Scallan versus Jason Street Shark Slade. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of good fights that are going to be on this card, and Lafayette's going to show up, or everybody around the area and beyond is going to come, and a lot of people are going to watch some pay-per-view. So it's big. We are continuing the evolution of fights in Lafayette. A new era is born with RFC, RAGIN Fighting Championship. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic. And I can't wait till Saturday. It's going to be awesome. I think weigh-ins are tomorrow night at Pete's, right?
Yep. Official weigh-ins at 12, and then mock weigh-ins will be at 4:00. Yes.
Got you. Sadly, I will not be there. I have to go to work. I'm going to be announcing a Bayou Fighting Championship in New Orleans. So sadly, I have to miss out on all that. But
and I would say they do have, as far as like there's like very random like VIP tickets and spots at tables. So if you need to get like one ticket, you can certainly get it in some of the VIP areas. Now there is general admission. I had someone who picked up 2 this morning. So general admission and some random single spots at different tables and stuff,
Cool. Yeah. So there's going to be spots spread all around. But tickets are going fast. So if you haven't got your ticket and you're planning on going to the show, you need to get your ticket now, because by Saturday they might not be there. And I've done many events in that Youngsville Sports Complex. Every one of them has been a smash. I mean, that place is full to the brim, and you can't fit another person in there with a crowbar. So it's going to be a fun event, and a lot of people are looking forward to it. And we're going to make history. Like I said, a new era of fights is born with RFC 1 there in Youngsville. Eric, man, I'm going to let you go. It's been awesome talking to you. Before we get out of here, any last words before your fight this Saturday night against Jason Street Shark Sladen?
No, man, we're ready to roll, man. Just enough talking. There's no this interview with you. That's the last one, man. So that's why I know you want to do this. Whether Friday, Saturday, like Friday night. I'm like, dude, you out your mind. Let's do it. We'll do it in the morning time after this. Like, if my phone's going off, man. So.
Jeremy Allen joining the show. He says, "Let's go Easy E." Shout out to Jeremy Allen. Love that dude. Good to see him. Glad he's in the comments.
Oh, he's a beast, man.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, yes. All right, Eric. Well, look, I'm gonna let you go. You got a busy day, and you got to get back to preparing for this epic fight going to be happening Saturday night at RFC 1. So, for Eric, Easy, Scallan, and everybody at RFC Raging Fighting Championship, this has been the Bryce Boudreaux Show, and my name is Bryce Boudreaux, and this was my show. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.